The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Right up there at the top of the list for many drivers lies Road Atlanta when it comes to discussing favorites on a schedule. The free-flowing, elevation-ridden racetrack that is the home of Petit Le Mans has been a staple of the Red Sox Racing League calendar for many a season, and tonight is no different. Tonight we crown two champions, both in the LMP class and in our GT3 campaigns, as we conclude our spring series here on PTR TV. Welcome everyone to tonight's efforts here for the Red Sox Racing League. Again, race number 6 of 6 in their spring 2023 campaign here from Road Atlanta. I don't think there's a title sponsor of this one, but for all I know, maybe there is. But right now we are finishing up qualifying. Per usual, we always come into this during our LMP session. You can see the GT3 sitting there on pit road. They have already done their business. Sheldon Rosenbaum, not quite a new name to the series, but one who's making a return here to tonight's efforts. He has the provisional, well, not the provisional, he will be the pole sitter in GT3. Currently, Ryan Robertson, who's on a little bit of a return from a hiatus, has missed a few weeks here. You can see the timing on the left of your display, and not a surprise there. Ryan Robertson leading the charge by a few tenths of a second over Mark Wilson. So we will indeed see if that time closes, or if this just turns into another Ryan Robertson romp here at Road Atlanta. But another one of the tracks that most everyone's going to have a fair amount of comfort at. You can see the layout here at Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia. The full course, 2.252 miles, 12 turns around here. A lot of passing zones, a lot of elevation going down the S's, and a very tight front straightaway here where these guys will have the pit road. This track actually right next door to the Linear Raceplex, a track that is also an iRacing short track that is has a dirt version on iRacing, more or less a skid pad drift circuit here in real life, but this neighboring circuit that actually NASCAR, as a matter of fact, owns this track, but makes you wonder why it's never seen a calendar date here, but that is a topic for a different day here. But let's go ahead and pull up our point standings here so we know exactly where we stand heading into tonight's efforts. This is after 5 weeks, including the drop week. So remember, the first 5 races of one of those, you are eligible to drop one of them, your worst finish. So with that being said, Mark Wilson up by 10 points over Les Turner, Kevin Kyle, Miriam Pietri, and Dwayne McCarthy, the top 5. Interestingly enough, and I did double check this to make sure I didn't screw anything up, the top 5 in the points have not won a race. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but just the irony of a Ryan Robertson, who has won every race he started, Matt Harrell and Robert Cansey and the other winners, but they have not been as consistent with the attendance. Therefore, that is where we stand, but still Mark Wilson being second here on the pylon should be in a good position to take this one down, unless Les Turner can find some speed, and Wilson maybe has a little bit of issue here. But David Berry up by 11 over Reed Rundle, and now looking at the scoring pylon, he is 6th. So trying to see Reed Rundle. Reed Rundle is just a few spots ahead of him in class, so I think he'll need a little bit more help than that to make a charge here. Bill Pollocky with his win at Spa, then Kodrowski and Griffin tied for 4th there. So that will conclude our point standings. That is what we are going to be dealing with heading into today's race. But typically we have a schedule to announce whenever we have race number 6. I'm typically given the schedule. We can always announce it so that way you do have the heads up of what is coming in subsequent seasons here with the Red Sox Racing League. But a little bit of unknowns with the future. Not that the league is shutting down by any means, but whether the summer season will be existing, as it looks like Robert Kansian doing some donuts there. Not their intentional ones, but I think we are going to be headed in the direction of a few special prioritized races that we'll have over the summer, then likely coming back into full strength for the fall season here. So I don't really have anything to announce in that capacity, but of course, when we do have some more racing here for these guys, make sure you do stay tuned to it. And if you're interested in driving, you can just check the Red Sox Racing League out on Facebook. Just look up Red Sox Racing League. You'll find it rather easily, or you can even just look them up on the iRacing League page. Looks like we've kind of had an up and down season attendance-wise, but having a great showing. I'll even go that far to say that here for the final race, upwards of 20, which is usually where we are. I think Jerez may have scared a few drivers, but here we come to the end of qualifying right now. You can see everybody has run their laps, and the timer in the cool down session is starting to erode down to a 0 value. So that means that we have nothing else to do but to thank everyone for tuning in here. If it's your first time, do not make it your last on our mission to hit 1,000 subscribers. We are slowly making the climb. We'd like to make it a little bit faster. So if you have not clicked that button, or if you have a different account, different device, give us a hand there and help us on our endeavors, as it will help everybody, both the league owners and myself included. But that being said, let's head down trackside, give you a starting lineup here today from Road Atlanta. On our overall pole, lap time of 1 minute 10 seconds, 0.979. Ryan Robertson in the 210. Can he get the 4-race sweep? Can he win every race he's attended? He has a good start at that right now. Mark Wilson outside of that front row. Third, you find Robert Kansian with Shane Hunter in fourth. Fifth finds Matt Harrell. He won a race this season. Hey, with his hand in the air. And then Les Turner in sixth. Jason Breyfogle with the iRacing staff in seventh. Todd Marin-Pietri in eighth, in our biggest LMP grid ever, at least this season anyways. Dwayne McCarthy in ninth. And now we're going to start with the GT3. Sheldon Rosenbaum, again, not a newbie to the league, but a kind of a returning veteran. And then Robert Beresford second, Reed Rundle in third, Thomas Wolf in fourth, and then Andrew Humphrey in the fifth spot. Sixth finds David Berry, our points leader, with Terry Dahl in seventh, Dennis Griffin eighth, Mark Kidrowski in ninth. Rounding out our grid of GT3s is Bill Pollock. You remember he snuck that win out at Spa, and then longtime veteran of the series, James Prostell Jr. in 11th. And then our last LMP who did not take time is Kevin Kyle in the 65. Per the notes I have been given pre-race, we will have a 10-second stagger between classes here. Lap time's pretty quick around here, so we're not doing the 15 seconds that's usual, because that would spread the field out a little bit farther than ideal. So 10 seconds should hopefully create enough spacing, but not too much here on the evening. Take a look at our weather conditions here from virtual Brazelton, Georgia. 77 in the air, 84 on the track with a 7 p.m. sim time. Road Atlanta does have stadium, well, not stadium lighting, but lighting is enabled here within the iRacing confines, so you will find some, tents lit up, cars lit up, and some very, very sporadic must-go lighting, temporary fixtures placed around the track. The last time we raced here, we did actually have quite a bit of illumination from those light fixtures. I'm not sure by the 7 o'clock sim time here. I'm just looking around the track. I don't think we're going to have that happen, but it will definitely be darker than it currently is at present. Of course, remember, with the Red Sox Racing League, our 35-minute races, limited fuel load, and the incident point penalties, which I think that'll probably have to come into play here to take a serious stab at maybe changing any points pictures regarding the championship. Remember, if they run out of fuel and do not make it back to the pits, that is a 4-second penalty, or rather a 4-point penalty, excuse me. And I believe points are deducted for every 6 incidents. So you do have to mind that. A track that it's not too much known for off tracks being an issue. So I don't really foresee too many issues with that. And similar to what we did last race at Jerez, which was 2 weeks ago. Remember, we are fresh off the new iRacing build, and I believe, yeah, we do have quite a bit of new Porsches. Remember, iRacing released the new 992 Porsche, and the 991 Porsche GT3R was retired, and there was no good way to keep the legacy and the current portion. So now in the GT3 class, you will see many of these brand spanking new off-the-shelf Porsche GT3R 992. But here we come, getting ready for a green flag here. Robertson's getting a little bit of a head there. Wilson's got to keep up with him. I don't know if he's going to keep him side by side, but he's going to do his best, and let's get a good competitive start here. Green flag in the air. Let's have some racing here at Road Atlanta. Going up the hill for the first time, Ryan Robertson with sole command. Looks like all of our LMPs have managed to get through. A little bit of side-by-side working through there towards the end of the field, but I think we should have some GT3s. They're going to be firing off here. Barney has the flag, and here they come with their run into turn one. Oh, we got Lightning McQueen in this one. I haven't seen that one before. I got to like that ride there. I think that is the number 58 of Robert Barros, who is Lightning McQueen. He is speed, and he's going to try to use that to his advantage here. I think those headlights actually really work well as eyeballs there, so nice livery for him. Reed Rundle there in third in the Little Caesars automobile. Live timing and scoring on the screen to the left of your displays here, and as we did last week at Jerez, we will bring up the track map on the top right of your screen, so you'll be able to see where everybody is in proximity on the racetrack here. I had to make it a little bit bigger than I would like to, just for the sake of being able to read the numbers. The numbers are the car numbers, not the position. The focus car now being Ryan Robertson. You can see him in the large number there, so that will be available for the whole broadcast. Matt Harrell, another winner on the season, finds himself off yonder. Let's try to go back and see what happened to him. He's running by himself here on the front straightaway heading into turn one, and looks like he just drove it in a little bit too deep and was lucky. A little kiss into the tires there. But I think he should be okay. Les having some track position. He will carry on there now in the 10th spot. You can see running a fair bit behind the rest of his competitors. Shane Hunter doing a little bit of draft work here down the back straightaway. Trying to make a move, or preparing for a move on Robert Cancian. He will not make that move. Heading down into 10A, 10B, and then down the hill into 11 and 12 here. 11 and 12, not a place you want to run side by side. A lot of undulations, bumps, awkward apexes here. But if you can get a run perhaps into turn number one, you can get that up the hill, but then it's a little bit awkward trying to make a pass here at the top of the racetrack, headed down into the S's. This is a difficult part of the track to try and make moves, and he will have to fall back. The air tends to make it a little bit difficult here as well, so Hunter will fall back. Wilson leading the charge there. That was Robert Cancian going rather wide. See what's going on in GT3 at the moment. Sheldon Rosenbaum has pulled away by about 0.8 of a second over Robert Barrow, so not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of the imagination, but he's starting to get a little bit of leeway there. Pull up the battle graphic and dictate the lap times here. Last time by about half a second in the back for Rosenbaum, but you can just tell visually But that gap is already beginning to get smaller and smaller. So perhaps a little bit of slipstream. Perhaps he's just learning something by running behind Rosenbaum there. And then Reed Rundle not falling too far back. Thomas Wolfe, the lone BMW on the racetrack. He's currently running in 4th in that Marlboro BMW. And then you go back a little bit further to Andrew Humphrey. Les Turner there, one of our higher ranked drivers in the point standings heading into this race, second behind Mark Wilson. Well, Wilson running 6 positions higher than him. Of course, that will basically negate any opportunity for him to eat into that points gap here. Robertson doing Robertson things, already up by almost 4 seconds, 3.5 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark. Grows and shrinks per corners here with it being live telemetry, but good battle on track. This is the best battle on track, which is for that second spot in GT3 with Reed Rundle. Looks like Bill Paulucky may have had a little bit of issue. Let's go back on replay and sort that out. That yellow 16 of James Prostel behind him. No, Paulucky just got loose by himself there. That's a very difficult part of the track. And just kind of a slide to the grass. No harm, no foul. Just lost the track position. But that part of the track, very, very difficult because you're asking the car to do a lot of things at the same time. You're asking it to change directions, go up, then abruptly go right back down. So if you don't hit it right, very, very unsettling. Shane Hunter really getting that toe on Robert Kansian, but not taking the stab at the opportunity to make the pass. Mark Wilson just ahead there. So now we have 3 cars within a very short confines here. Getting by the 81 of Bill Paulucky here, entering turn 1. You can see Wilson was able to clear, get back in line. Didn't look like Kansian or Hunter was disadvantaged at all in that effort. Coming up through the top of the hill here, down through the S's. Some more GT3 traffic amongst us, getting by Prostel, and that's going to be Dennis Griffin in the baby blue ride. Some allergies here, so apologies for a little quiet on the mic for a brief moment. But some tight confines here getting around Dennis Griffin. Wilson hanging on to the lead, but is Kansian going to take a stab at it here down the back straightaway? Thought he was going to do so. Yep, he's going to take a stab at it right here into 10 and 10A. It's actually going to be Shane Hunter getting by Kansian there. I thought Kansian was originally going to get by Wilson, but rather lost a spot in the process, getting by Terry Dahl here. Very tough part of the track to hit traffic. Very slow, well, not slow corner, but single lane corner. Not really any room to evade. That ended up hurting Kansian rather significantly there, as he was kind of stuck behind Dahl, and now he's going to be stuck behind. Trying to make out who that is. I think that is David Berry in the Ghostbusters ride. Ghostbusters Ferrari there, so that will again separate a little bit further. You can see Breifogel, who is just about a second and a half beyond Kansian. He usually has some pace, just not in qualifying, does Breifogel. I'm not sure if he'll be able to take any opportunities to gain. He'll have to do it the hard way here. As you can see Ryan Robertson, our overall leader. He is going down the back straightaway, and he has a whole line of GT3s right in front of him, but he has the gap that he does not need to rush his way through it. I'll get to the inside there of Berry, and then I'll try to see who is just ahead of him. That's Reed Rundle. So he's getting to the front of the GT3 grid. Now he's behind Lightning McQueen, a.k.a. Robert Barrows here. So far not lost anything. About 3.5 seconds, so he managed to get through the majority of that traffic really with no detriment. So Good job, and of course, it's a good job and just a little bit of luck as well. You never know where you're going to get these guys and where you're going to make those moves, but it looks like we do have a battle for second shaping up, and it's going to get very much instigated by some traffic here as they are exiting turn 5 and headed off into 6 and 7, the double right-hand complexing. That's Shane Hunter having to go around the outside of David Berry there, I believe that was. And here comes Shane Hunter looking outside, looking inside. Can't go outside because there's Barrows. So now he's just going to have to get within the slipstream of Wilson. Maybe he'll take a stab at it into 10. And he's going to look high, maybe set up for a crossover, try to get a better shot here on the right-hander. Thought he'd try to get a crossover going down the hill, didn't have it. Now he's going to be in a little bit of dirty air. Hard to keep the downforce through that corner. That's the 87 just ahead of him. Overall leader Sheldon Rosenbaum, who is now 2.5 seconds up over Robert Barrows. You can see Barrows there, of course, very well dictated by the Lightning McQueen car, so whenever you see him, you can very easily distinguish him. Other battles currently stirring up on track. I think Andrew Humphrey, he was only about a half second behind Mark Kudrowski in a Minnesota Twins car, but that traffic in form of Les Turner, the Batmobile, I think kind of interrupted him, but now Les Turner is all over the back of Kudrowski. Kudrowski got loose there, exiting, I think that was 5. You're allowed to run wide there at the exit of 5. There's no stipulation saying that you can't, but the track is very, very bumpy there beyond those rumble strips, so sometimes you're better off not wanting to do so. And I just saw the billboard there. It is Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. I thought it was. I just didn't want to be wrong, which I very usually am, so I guess I could have said that with a little bit more confidence there. Terry Dahl is in close proximity to Reed Rundle, so I believe something may have happened to Reed Rundle. Let me check his starting position here. His memory starts to fade me up. He's -5, so there may have been a little off-track endeavor for Reed Rundle that we missed, because he did lose a lot of positions and very quickly, and it looks like Shane Hunter, he's around going up the hill. Let's go back on replay, see what happened to him. He's heading into turn number 1. Oh, just got the 8 too much curb, and the curb spit him out sideways and backwards there, right going up the hill. Very scary situation there, because it's not a very high visibility part of the track for everybody else, but he did a good job, finding the gap, and everybody else did a good job reacting to the situation. Of course, local yellows on the call there do tend to help out. So now Shane Hunter going to have to get back on the saddle here and see where he can recoup. You can see there now 22 seconds back. Still within proximity of Aaron Pietri and McCarthy. I think he's kind of out of the ballgame here for a top 3 unless some bad stuff happens. But let's go and switch over, check out some lap times here so we can get a scope of where everybody is on the stopwatch. And oh my, you get to see there on the top of the board that huge discrepancy up there. Almost a second faster for Ryan Robertson. So whenever you see that, you just know that 210 driver, he is just something special. He's got we talk to him very frequently, of course, whenever he's in victory lane, as we do have first driver into the pits, Mark Kudrowski, which this is not a surprise at all. He's usually one to take the early pit stop. Robertson, I'll ask him, how much practice do you get? He said none, or very, very little, or I don't even own the track. And he just comes out there. Oops, so he did a little telestrator glitch there. But he'll tell you, he doesn't really have much practice. He just manages to, show up, know the track, learn the track within a day, and he can go out here and be competitive. And he just basically he was just faster that time by than even the prior lap that we measured. Up by now 7 seconds over Mark Wilson. Wilson's lap time is he already crossed the stripe. So that time by a full second faster. So just absolutely blazing here Pertaining to LMP, Sheldon Rosenbaum is faster, but not nearly by a second. He's faster by about 3/10. Lightning McQueen is getting beat out here. Oh my goodness, I cannot remember who was his biggest competitor in the last movie, the driver of the new car. Because that new Cars movie, Cars 3, is basically, in my, I don't know if it factually was, it just seemed it, that it was the story of Jeff Gordon, the guy who dominated and then just couldn't win in his last few races, and he just tried to get one final hurrah in as the new guys came and just blew him into smithereens, and that's kind of what the story of Lightning McQueen was. I don't think it really relates to Robert Barros at all, but as a father, I've seen that movie way too many times, so I basically know it word for word. I just can't seem to remember the character right now. I'm sure it'll come to me at some point there in the rest of this race, but back to stuff that is of slightly more significance. The closest gap on track for a position is Berry and Dahl. I'll be 6th and 7th in class. Dahl separated by about 4/10, was 4/10 or 2/10 rather faster on the stopwatch last time. So we'll take a gander here. Maybe let's see what he can do on the straightaway. See 3/10. Now this is interesting, but he didn't get a good run off the corner. And because he didn't get a good run off the corner, the slipstream really didn't gain any time for him. It basically just made him net even heading into 10A and 10B. Now, this is a very difficult part of the track. A lot of stuff going on, and they managed to hold a very steady gap. Looks like he got a little bit better there off of 12, but not enough for any significance there. So that battle does continue. Looks like we do have Les Turner exiting the pit, so he came in roughly out of the 6th spot. He's going to blend right in front of these guys we were watching, but he'll pull away with minimal effort there. Looks like Dennis Griffin, through the meanwhile, he's managed to close in on Terry Dahl. So that'll be roughly a 3-car position, 6th, 7th, 8th in our GT3 class at present. If Griffin is able to sustain, and he'll use slipstream, and then Prostel not too far out of the picture there, so we are in close proximity at the end of the GT3 top 10. Rosenbaum did lose a little bit of his lead. Now it's down to 2.6 seconds as Robert Barros did find 4/10 of a second. He did gain a modest amount last time by, as he's getting surpassed by Jason Breifogel, who is now in the 8th spot. So Breifogel has lost some spots, but didn't catch anything, but he may have had an off-track endeavor or two. Now this last time by, I can pull up the battle graphic. See Robert Barros and Sheldon Rosenbaum more or less identical laps last time by, so I almost wonder if Sheldon Rosenbaum just had an off lap, which was where that discrepancy came from. Ryan Robertson, our overall leader, having another GT3 interaction in the worst possible spot of the track, but of course the benefit for Ryan Robertson is he has a 8+ second lead, so he doesn't have to rush his way through this. He can methodically take his time and make sure that he is comfortable here. Doesn't need to push the issue. He could lose a second. He could lose 2 seconds. In fact, he did lose a second, so he's clearly heeding to my advice. See, now he's behind Terry Dahl, David Berry. We were just watching that, exiting 7. Into turn number 8, which is basically just a miniature kink. I'm actually very surprised they call it a turn. The backstretch here, which is a very curved situation, basically spread into 3 different corners. So it's kind of interesting how that works. Looks like we have Dwayne McCarthy, another LMP pit stop, so he'll be back to 9th. He's going to merge right in front of Robert Barros, but he should be able to pull away just due to the nature of his vehicle type. Shane Hunter, after that little issue, he's trying to gain whatever spots he can find, and he has closed in on Todd Baron-Pietri. That would be for 5th in class. Baron-Pietri is just going to, well, he's going to pit. I was going to say, is he rolling over and letting him go? Well, that is the case. But he is coming into the pits, so that will, again, now that'll be the 3rd of 11, or rather 10 LMPs who have taken time in the pits. Of course, we have the LMP2 here on the Red Sox Racing League in conjunction with the GT3 class. Of course, with the new iRacing season build, we have now been given the LMP3 car, which is one that I know Terry had expressed interest to me in trying to introduce to the league. So no formal announcement on that, but I would not be surprised in the slightest if the next time you see a Red Sox Racing League race, if that LMP3 is somehow in conjunction with this race, whether it be with a GT3 or GTE perhaps. So we'll stay tuned for that. I know we've kind of run this exact combo a few times in a row, but people tend to like new content. And the good thing about that GT3 is it is a little bit easier to drive, being slightly lower powered than these machines, being a lower class on the totem pole. So it is a car that has been very popular in its injunction here in iRacing. So again, we'll take a look at the future, but we're still in present now. Race number 6 of the spring series. Again, we have championships on the line here. Just as a reminder, we'll bring it up as we're watching. So now we have a scope of what's going on. Our point standings here. Wilson up by 10 over Les Turner, and Rundle is 11 behind David Berry here. So as a reminder of what we have in the point standings, can refresh our brains with that. David Berry not having the best of runs, but he's running close enough to Reed Rundle that it's not really going to matter. You know, one spot's not going to matter when you need 10. So thus far, not having anything that would change up the championship picture on tonight's race, as we are now under 15 minutes to go. Whoa, Ryan Robinson going very wide there in the 1. I think he is just kind of playing games with himself here. I know he does actually say he does that when he has these huge leads. He kind of plays games with himself, keep himself engaged, as Andrew Humphrey in the 69 finds himself in the pits. So we have to be honest, for Ryan Robertson, of every race he has entered this season, he just genuinely has not had any competition this season. I genuinely could not remember a race that he genuinely had to battle for. They've all been kind of don't screw up and go type races. Mitch Heller, who was his biggest competitor, and I think one of the reasons he did switch classes was to battle Mitch Heller in this car, but Mitch Heller did undergo a shoulder injury from what I was told. And this, you know, even though we are racing in the virtual world, you know, you have steering wheels with significant force feedback. If you do have an arm injury of any sort, it will compromise your ability to race competitively. And Mitch Heller, a very competitive driver, not one that's going to want to just putt around. He's going to want to compete at his best level. Maybe we'll see him in the next season. We do have Lightning McQueen, Robert Barrows, coming to the pits out of 2nd. And some more pit stops. And, oh, it looks like Barrows overshot a stall by a few inches there. We have Wilson and Kansian in the pits here, so that leaves Robertson on the racetrack, along with Hunter, Harrell, and Breyfogle. Harrell, actually, he did tell me how to pronounce his name. Hurley, that's what it was. Matt Hurley, I remember him giving me that note somewhere. So, Hurley coming in. So that'll leave Breyfogle, Robertson, and Hunter for the LMP drivers. See Reed Rundle exiting their pits. A little bit of crossover there, but there's no collision within the pit stall, so no issues on that capacity here. But Robertson now up by 20 seconds over Hunter. Not a full accurate interval, because that is based on pre-pit stops. So we'll see what the actual interval is after the pits. We compare the pit metrics as we usually do here. But Sheldon Rosenbaum, our GT3 leader, coming down into the pits. He only was up by 2 seconds compared to the almost 10 seconds that Ryan was up. So he definitely cannot make a mistake and get away with it. And looks like he'll get in relatively smoothly. Shane Hunter, he's coming in, so that basically just leaves Robertson, Breyfogle, and actually Kyle as the last LMPs to pit. We have 3 GT3s, Wolf, Berry, and Prostel, who we are waiting on in the GT3 class. So they are 1, 2, 3 respectfully now. 11 minutes to go, so 24 minutes in, almost into the last third of the race, as these races do tend to fly by here for the Red Sox Racing League. So Breyfogle coming to the attention of his crew, as is our overall leader, Ryan Robertson, here with is estimated to be about 8-ish laps to go here. Of course, depends on how the timer rolls. Remember, we've had a couple races where the timer called the white flag basically in the final corner, and other times we have run a full lap with a white flag. So you never actually know what's going to happen. We'll take a look at that, though, when the time gets closer. Robertson exited the pits, and he had about a 10-second lead when he came in. That lead now upwards of 14 seconds, so a good pit cycle for him. He can dictate that. Oh, David Berry in the pits. So basically we have Prostel, who has temporarily taken the lead. Prostel, and then we have looks like Kevin Kyle has finally come in, but we do have a shakeup in GT3. Thomas Wolfe has overtook Sheldon Rosenbaum for the class lead. Let's take a look at some of the telemetry here. Thomas Wolfe in the pits for 10.6 with a 34 essentially second lane time. So it's basically equal. So it makes you wonder where that time came from, because there was obviously about a 3-second shakeup there. You know, no tires were taken, so it's not a matter of, you know, old tires, new tires, like it would be from an oval perspective, but very interesting to see that. Now, can Rosenbaum come back? No, Thomas Wolfe has full clean air on the front of his car. I think at the distance that Rosenbaum is back, he has too, but that's the 808 of Todd Marin-Pietri. Just behind, he'll try to get by at the bottom of the hill, heading up into the S's. Into turn 5, rather. Turn 5, again, that turn where you can go very wide, and a lot of issues there if you do go wide, but there goes Marin-Pietri by with minimal contestment. But let's go ahead now with just under 8 minutes to go. Go ahead and do the through the field here as we begin to wrap things up here at the Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Ryan Robertson with our overall lead here today has dominated the race within class, which is nothing out of the ordinary for him. Robert Kansian in second. Mark Wilson in third. He should be our champion. Shane Hunter in fourth. Todd Marin-Pietri in fifth in class. Wayne McCarthy sixth in class. Les Turner seventh. And then Matt Hurley in eighth. Jason Breyfogle back to ninth. He must have had another set of issues that we missed. And then Kevin Kyle wrapping up our LMPs. Now leading our GT3 campaign, Thomas Wolfe with Sheldon Rosenbaum in second, Robert Barros in third, Andrew Humphrey, there he is. He's currently in the fourth spot with Reen Rundle in fifth, David Berry in the Ghostbusters ride in sixth, Terry Dahl running in seventh, James Prostel in eighth, Bill Paulucki in ninth, Dennis Griffin in 10th, and Mark Kudrowski. I'm not sure what we missed, but for some reason Mark Kudrowski has taken it behind the wall here at Road Atlanta and will not take or see the checkered flag. And we have a battle shaking up here in at about 6th spot in LMP between Les Turner and Dwayne McCarthy. Closest live battle for position on track. Les Turner in the Batmobiles closing in heading into 10A and 10B here. Looks like Dwayne McCarthy trying to break a little bit of slipstream there down the straightaway. But you can see how well Les Turner got through the kink there, now headed down the hill. Gap now just 0.2 of a second between those drivers. So get a little bit of draft here down the straightaway into turn number 1. We'll stay on board here so you can see how difficult this opening complex is. Looks like he missed the apex a little bit. Could have been dirty air, could have just drive it in too deep. And now here comes the blind chicane here. That leads you down the hill through the S's here, kind of very blind here as you hit all the way to the crest, and then you start heading right back uphill, hit the curb, and then in an LMP you don't want to go as wide. In a GT3 you'll see guys using all of that possible real estate. His goal is going to be to stay close here through 6 and 7. Because he's in that range now where he may be able to use a slipstream down the back straightaway here. See here from the rear bumper cam of Dwayne McCarthy. And that gap really not closing, so the draft is not as strong as we would have probably given it credit for. Thomas Wolfe still hanging on to the lead over now Robert Barros. So Sheldon Rosenbaum, who dominated the race in class, not too sure what has transpired here, but now he's 5 seconds off. I'm trying to take a look if he has any damage or anything. That car looks fine. She's just maybe out of rhythm now and maybe pushing too hard. I can't really fathom how he just kind of fell off a cliff there. Wilson in second, and just kind of focusing on briefly what most likely will be our champions. Mark Wilson in third, and then David Berry currently running 6th in class, so no earth-shattering efforts by any means, but definitely some solid runs nonetheless. About 4 laps estimated to go left in the race, and Rosenbaum trying to gain whatever time he can, trying to close back in on Robert Barros. Got it down to about a half second. The guys are just really struggling to break that half-second bubble. Just a kind of a lot of downfall, kind of a lot of dirty air wash here because of the fact that there's a lot of corners that are blind, and blind corners definitely tend to be single lane corners, not a lot of approaches to them. So you're just kind of losing the air, losing the nose in a lot of these high downforce corners. Clipping the grass there, clipping the dirt makes you wonder if that's going to be a 0x as Rosenbaum goes down the hill. Again, you'll see the difference here versus an LMP. How much more curb and runoff you're able to take there. You can take that little bit of undulation, you can take that elevation change there, as Rosenbaum just blows right by Barros. Is he out of fuel? Something wrong with Robert Barros. Can't quite make it out here. I wonder if he is out of fuel. Maybe he didn't take enough. But either way, he's going to be giving up many positions. Rosenbaum will be back to second, but he's still 4.5 seconds behind Thomas Wolfe here. As looks like we're going to come to 2 laps to go here, as Ryan Robertson's going to take the stripe with minute 50, and lap times here about a minute 12. So certainly will be 2 laps to go, and only other position on circuit, perhaps Les Turner and Dwayne McCarthy. They're separated by about a half second for their position. That's 6th and 7th, and then we have David Berry and Terry Dahl separated by about half a second within their class here. That is Kevin Kyle, who's going to surpass that name, spice this battle up. But he may also just be very cautious because he does realize that it's a battle for position. Oh, who is that? That just closed in out of nowhere there. 927, that's Shane Hunter, who's 4th in class, but he's a ways back behind Mark Wilson, so not sure if there's going to be any kind of contesting there. Not any live positions on track right now, but as we come down into 10 for the penultimate time here, again, Ryan Robertson he's just been the dominator this season. He's won every single race this season that he's shown up for. He has missed 2, so as he takes what will ultimately be the white flag, he's going to go a perfect 4 for 4 in races he's attended. And if he made 5, if he was able to make one more race, he would have had himself another championship. But because he missed 2 races, he did have to keep a 0, a goose egg, in the points column for 1 race, which is ultimately why he does not have the LMB championship here. But Mark Wilson has shown some serious speed here this season and didn't quite get the win, but came close, I believe, once at Watkins Glen. Just couldn't quite pull it off, but has had many top 5s and a lot of podiums this season. And then David Berry did have a almost positive he had a win. My memory's already losing me here, but he's had a solid run here, and while not having the run he probably would have liked here at Road Atlanta, he did just enough to complete his goal. But coming through the final set of corners here, coming down the hill for the final time into 11 and 12. 4 for 4, Robertson gets another one. Now, Thomas Wolf, again, who snuck one out here, he's going to come off the final corner here, and I still don't know how he did it, but he did it nonetheless. Thomas Wolf manages to get the win and steal it away from Sheldon Rosenbaum there. It's be interesting to see if we can get them in post-race and discuss how that happened, because I'm very curious if anything did happen, but either way, good bit of driving by both drivers involved here on the evening. So here, Red Sox Racing League fashion, these guys do have to drive all the way back to their pit stall, because if they do not do as such, they will be given a penalty by race control, by league control, not so much race control, and given a points penalty. But most drivers know that they got to put some extra fuel in the tank for that to happen. But let's head down. I think just about everybody has finished the race, so let's go wait another little bit of time. And then we'll head down trackside, get ready for our post-race show, and we'll start that off with giving you the final rundown of results here today from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. They actually worked the first time today. Excellent. Thomas Wolf with that. Wait, where is my... I don't know why they're acting up these days, but either way, Ryan Robertson with the win over Robert Cansey and Mark Wilson in 3rd. Shane Hunter in 4th. Todd Marin-Pietri with a 5th. Dwayne McCarthy finishes in 6th with Les Turner in 7th. Matt Hurley in 8th. Jason Breyfogle in 9th, and then rounding out our top 10, we have Kevin Kyle. And then we have our GT3 class. Thomas Wolf with the win. Still don't know how he did it, but he did it either way. Sheldon Rosenbaum in 2nd. Led the whole first race, part of the race, but somehow just it fell apart at the very end. Robert Barros with a 3rd, Andrew Humphrey in 4th, Reed Rundle in 5th, David Berry, Dahl, Prostel, Paul Lucky, and Griffin, and then last one on the page, Mark Kedrowski here. And unofficially, this is all unofficial, could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it's not. Congratulations to our unofficial champions, Mark Wilson and David Berry. I think they did enough to get themselves that crown here. And per usual, well, Ryan, you did it again. It was another don't screw it up, and the race is yours. 18 seconds in the bank you had, and just drove and left him once again, man. What was it like out here tonight?
It was pretty on edge, actually. The setup for this track has the springs at some outlandishly stiff settings, so you hit any of the curbs and you're just bouncing. Like after the S's coming up that hill and making that left-hander, I had to completely alter my line from what I'm used to in like a GT car, where you kind of just like ride the curb and everything like that. Like you could not do it if you came off that curb. The car just kept pogoing around. So it was good. It kept, like I said, kept me on edge, kept it interesting, and it was a fun drive getting around GTs, catching traffic in some really poor places sometimes. But no, overall, great night.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seemed to be a big point here today, at least more so with the other guys, but definitely caught you too. We had a good field today, both in LMP and in GT3. So I know you talked about having some issues there. I know, and like you said in 5, a lot of guys having issues there going wide. Was there any real moments on track where you were like, oh no, or did you just have to take your time and work your way through it?
Not particularly during the race. I kind of experienced everything that I would have in practice, so I knew, okay, if I bounce wrong on this curb, how to, try to not get too happy on the accelerator, because especially before the thing settles, you can light up the rears super easily and the car will just go. So, but yeah, during the race, kind of was able to keep my cool, and once or twice, maybe a couple of, a little lockup here or there, a little bit of an extra slide, but nothing, no code browns, we'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well, you went 4 for 4. If you managed to sneak one more race in there, you would have had another championship under your belt, but one race shy of that. I don't know what's going on in the summer. I think we have a couple special events that are potentially going off, but either way, I mean, I guess we'll see it in the fall with whatever the combination happens to be then.
Oh yeah, for sure. Congrats to, I think, Mark is the winner, the champion this season.
Mark and David, I think, unofficially, but
so yeah, congrats to them. They had a great season, and looking forward to the next one, and hopefully I can make it to all the races. But not, I'm sure to have some fun. So
all right, man. Congrats on solid runs, and I'll talk to you when we talk to you.
Thanks. See you, Corey.
See ya. Now, Thomas Wolf, I'm just looking at the good old Discord here, and I do see him online, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because if he is online and he doesn't come into the server, then I can't talk to him. So we'll kind of wait just a little bit more, and I just want to again thank everyone for tuning in here. Again, Red Sox Racing, one of my favorite leagues that we've covered on the channel. Happy to see them have a great turnout here today. If you're interested in tuning in to the league or racing in the league, just check them out on Facebook or search on the iRacing Leagues. We are filling up the calendar here on PTR TV, so if you're interested in any content, if you have a league that you run separately from this, you can reach me at Corey@PrimetimeRacingTV.com. Oh, there he is, Thomas Wolf. We were about to sign off, but he managed to sneak in here, Thomas, so congrats.
Hey, you got me?
I got you, man. You got me?
Yep, gotcha.
So congrats on the win. Well, first of all, I mean, I looked at all the telemetry, and I don't know how you passed Sheldon there, because the pit stop deltas were basically the same. So how did you get by him? Did I miss something with him getting sideways or something?
I'm not exactly sure. I just know I came off pit road and I looked in the rear view and I saw him there. So I thought, I was gonna have to make my move in that moment. But yeah, I'll let all the telemetry and timings like that was out the window for me. It's just a matter of driving as fast as I can for each lap.
Yeah, so you managed to do that. When you managed to come out with the lead, did you feel like you had the pace to hang on? It seemed like he was struggling in there and maybe over pushing to try to get back to you, but did you have comfort in the car once you got to the lead that you'd be able to hang on with it?
I kind of feel like he was running faster than me before the pit stops, but I saw the traffic coming and I put down a pretty solid lap. I think it was a 19.2, and I felt a lot of confidence after that. So,
and I know I've seen you once or twice before, probably more than that, but I know we're having a little summer break, maybe a couple special races, and probably restarting in the fall based on what I've been told so far, subject to change. So are we going to see you more regularly going forth battling with these guys?
Oh, yeah. I'll be back around. Just calendar. If my calendar allows me, I'll be here racing.
All right, I know how that is, man. We're busy time, but try to squeeze in some fun when we can, man. Thanks for sneaking in to talk with me, and good luck going forth.
Yep, for sure. Thanks, Corey. See ya.
Yeah. All right, so that is a broadcast here. Let's go and I do see Mark Wilson in here. I can see if he wants to have a word. Hey, Mark, you got me, man?
Oh, yeah, I do.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not the point statistician here, but I'm assuming that you're the champion in the class, so I'm going to unofficially offer you congratulations and hope that it's not wrong. So
Premature? Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks. I believe I was ahead by 10 over Les. So I think he was the only one who had a chance to catch me. I finished a few points behind Ryan. And and I just needed to get on the podium and finish in front of Les. That's what I believe. But it hasn't been confirmed. I was actually talking to Terry about it. But it was a great season. I just tried to get on the podium every chance I could. Ryan is a rocket. And, I like to send his boss a gift certificate or gift card or something for keeping him away for a couple of races that allowed me to move up in the point standing because I couldn't catch him. And I'm just glad all the seasons that I spent here that I was able to get this done. So, yeah, I'm happy about it. Really happy.
Yeah, and it wasn't all, it's just kind of a participation trophy with him not being there. You had a couple good races. I want to say it was Watkins Glen. You nearly snuck that one out, and I was pulling for you, and something happened in the end. So, do you think that...
Mr. Gear.
Yeah, do you think that things might be coming together, assuming that we're running this car next season? I know there's a lot of question marks, but are you getting more confidence that you might be able to sneak one out the real way? And you know what I mean by saying that. Maybe getting to yourself.
No, I'm good. Yeah. So, yes, because I raced cautious this whole season. I mean, I was racing really cautious. There's a lot more. I on this track when I was practicing, Corey, I was actually running 10.8s, right? So, and I never ran into the 11s except for in qualifying, but I was able to get this car in the 10s. But you're on a knife edge, right? And so I just felt like I just need to stay close and do what I got to do there. But yeah, I can drive this car a lot faster than what you see.
So I know what it is. As we age, we don't have that all-out mentality these kids have. We all gotta work on that, myself included.
Yeah, and I'm probably one of the oldest guys in this league, and yeah, but I've been racing with Les for a while, Les and Terry, and they've been good to me and putting on a good race league and a lot of fun. And Robert, Cassian, and the guys in AG Motorsports, when they can, they race. But since I'm retired, I could race every week pretty much, unless I have something else going on medically. But other than that, I try to make every Thursday race and put on a show. Try to put on a show. Let's get the field filled up, and let's run some races and see what happens. So yeah,
that's what it's all about, man. Thanks for having a word with me, and we'll see what you can do whenever it is we fire it back up. Not quite sure when that is, but I'll be here when it happens.
Excellent, and so will I. So I'll catch you later, and have a good one.
You too, man. All right, well, let's get some talking there with guys we don't get to talk to very often. So congrats to our unofficial champions. Hopefully it all stands here, and I didn't prematurely cast any bad luck curses on anybody. But thanks for everyone tuning into PTR TV. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow night. Actually, no, we're off tomorrow night. It's an NASCAR off week, so I think we'll be back Monday with SSRL, and then we'll be back on Friday night for the D2 race next Friday night for the 100% Cup Series. And I think we're filling in some content here on Wednesdays pretty soon, so the calendar will be filling out. But that's Corey.